I wanted to get you on today, Bill. No one better to explain why economic sanctions are so important to try and deal with Putin at this particular time.
Well, so we have a war going on where he's killing, indiscriminately killing Ukrainian civilians in the tens of thousands. And we want to stop this war. How do we stop this war? Well, we can supply weapons to Ukraine, as we're doing, but we can also make sure that Vladimir Putin doesn't have the money to carry on doing the war. It's an expensive war. It costs him $1 billion a day. And that's what sanctions are all about at this point, is stopping the flow of money. So we say, where is his money? Some of the money is held at the Central Bank of Russia, and the West has frozen about 60% of that money. It was $640 billion. We've frozen 60% of that money. Some of the money is Vladimir Putin's own money, and I should point out that Vladimir Putin came into power right around year 2000, so he's been around for 22 years, and in that 22 years, he has stolen an absolutely ungodly amount of money. And if we look at the total theft from Russia since he's been in power of him and the oligarchs that surround him and the cronies, et cetera, it's about $1 trillion, $1,000 billion, $1 trillion has been stolen from the Russian people. And that money is being held offshore, mostly in the hands of Russian oligarchs. And that money is potentially money that Putin can use to wage this war. And as we're trying to cut off his money, that's the money that needs to be frozen and sanctioned.
And I think for our viewers and listeners, it's very important to hear that, because obviously when we think of countries going to war, we think about the Ministry of Defence, we think about the Treasury, we think about the money that's held in government. But what you're saying is actually Putin has used his time in office to cipher off money for his own personal wealth, and he uses oligarchs as a way of hiding that money in plain sight. Exactly.
So, Vladimir Putin is the richest man in the world, but Vladimir Putin can't keep any of that money in his own name, because if he did that and anybody had a bank statement or a property register that showed that he was a rich man, they could wave that around and discredit him. And he's in the business of blackmailing people all his life, and he understands how powerful that message could be if someone had that information. And so he doesn't want to be blackmailed himself. So if he can't hold it in his own name, he then has to find people whose names he can hold it in. And those people are the Russian oligarchs. And so when you see a Russian oligarch who's on the Forbes rich list and it says that they're worth $20 billion, that's not how much the oligarch is worth. The oligarch is worth 10, and the other 10 belongs to Vladimir Putin. And so when we're talking about cutting off Putin's money, we have to say, let's cut off the oligarch's money. And that's what this whole story is all about.